Have you ever enjoyed something that has longevity and you feel like it's been a part of your life since you were young and in essence, you grew up together? Well, I kind of feel that about a few things, and wrestling is one of them. I've been watching wrestling 40 years and I've seen lots of wrestlers come and go, but the one thing that I want to share in this video series are some of the many families that have existed in wrestling. And I am gonna start this series with the DIBIASES. Now before I continue, please like, subscribe, comment. I really like interaction, and hit the notification bell. Now, let's get it. As I went through some of these families to see who I would start with, I found some of these stories tragic and cool. So, let's get going with the first family. The DiBiase. Theodore Marvin Willis, or DiBiase Sr., was born January 18, 1954 in Omaha, Nebraska. Ted, as everyone knows him, is an American retired professional wrestler, manager, and color commentator. He is signed to WWE as of 2023, where he works in their Legends program. DiBiase achieved championship success in a number of wrestling promotions, holding 30 titles during his professional wrestling career. He is best recalled by mainstream audiences for his time in the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, where he wrestled as the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He has been named as one of the best technical wrestlers, 4, 5, and greatest villains in pro wrestling history. Among other accolades in the WWF, DiBiase was the first WWF North American Heavyweight Champion, a 3-time WWF Tag Team Champion, with Irwin R. Schuster, Mike Rotundo. He is the biological son of wrestler Helen Nevins and Ted Wills, an entertainer and singer. He is the adopted son of wrestler Iron Mike DiBiase, who married his mother when he was 4 years old. His adoptive father Mike passed away of a heart attack in the ring when DiBiase was 15. 7-time NWA World Champion Harley Race rushed to the ring and performed CPR, but was unable to save Iron Mike's life. In response, his mother suffered from depression and alcoholism, so DiBiase was moved to Willcox, Arizona, to live with his grandparents. He attended Creighton Preparatory High School in Omaha, Nebraska, and attended West Texas State University on a football scholarship. While there, he became a member of the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity. However, due to an injury in his senior year, he later dropped out of college to begin a career in professional wrestling. Now, before we continue with Ted and the future, let's go back to the past for a moment. And let's go back into the family tree and start with DiBiase's mom. Gladys Helen Nevins, born on February 26, 1926, was better known by her ring name Helen Hild. She was an American female professional wrestler and model that was born in Omaha, Nebraska. In her career, Nevins wrestled for extended periods of time for various wrestling promotions: All-Star Wrestling, Big Time Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Central States Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Minneapolis Boxing and Wrestling Club, NWA Mid-America, and the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Hild wrestled through the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s. One of the top female wrestling stars in the U.S. during the 1940s and 50s, she challenged Mildred Burke for the NWA World Women's Championship several times between 1948 and 1951. Hild was often a rival to the Fabulous Moolah. Their encounter in Seattle, Washington, on August 9, 1957, was the first women's wrestling match to be held in the city in 12 years. Nevins gave birth to a son named Theodore Marvin, later known as wrestler Ted DiBiase, in 1954, fathered by Ted Wills, an entertainer and singer. She later married fellow wrestler Iron Mike DiBiase, who adopted Theodore. After Mike's passing during a 1969 wrestling match, she became depressed and began to abuse alcohol. She passed away on March 4, 1984. She was 58 years old. Michael DiBiase was born on December 24, 1923. He was an American professional wrestler also known by his ring name, Iron Mike DiBiase. As an amateur wrestler, he was very accomplished. DiBiase, representing the U.S. Navy, was the 1946 AAU champion in the UNL Open or Heavyweight division. He then wrestled at the University of Nebraska, and competed at UNL in the NCAA tournament in 1947 and 1948, losing his first round match both years. Iron Mike debuted in wrestling in 1950. He had a few notable things happen in his wrestling career, including having a death match against Dory Funk Jr. that, according to Dora's brother Terry, lasted over 4 hours and took 32 falls, and fighting former boxing light heavyweight champion Archie Moore and being Archie's last knockout. He also won many championships in many different promotions, including the AWA, NWA Tri-State, and Rocky Mountain, and Championship Wrestling from Florida, to name a few. But the most infamous and unfortunate thing to happen to Mike DiBiase was that on July 2, 1969, in Lubbock, Texas, following a match with Man Mountain Mike, Iron Mike DiBiase passed away in the ring as the result of a fatal heart attack. Former NWA champion Harley Race performed CPR on DiBiase and then rode in the ambulance with him. DiBiase was pronounced gone at the hospital. He was buried at the Sunset Cemetery in Willcox, Arizona. Ted DiBiase confirmed that his father had a huge cholesterol buildup and was genetically predisposed to heart disease. Ted DiBiase had 3 sons who also wrestled: Brett, Michael, and Ted Jr. While Mike and Brett had accomplished careers, Ted Jr. became the more popular one, having a career in WWE. He held a few titles, including Tag Team and $1 Million title. He since retired and moved on to other ventures, but he was the last of them in the wrestling business. He also got to star in WWE's Marine movie franchise. I hoped you liked this video. I will be talking about other wrestling families in the near future. This is Tank saying laters.